Everyone wants to live within that where we want to live, rideable to the beach, but it's pretty hard to get in there.
I just had a conversation with one of the kids' school teachers. He's been trying to get in Eleanor Palmy and he's like, can you please help me? This is all I've got to spend. I'm like, well, maybe you're going to have to broaden your area of search. So like he's gone from wanting Palm Beach to Eleanor to moving to Reedy Creek.
It's also a challenge when you're looking for a house that none of these places got prices on it. And you go and you're like, okay, I've got 1.8 to spend. And they're showing you houses which are clearly out of your reach.
Yeah.
And so I think people get a false hope.
What do you think would be the 2 or 3 key elements not to get wrong with renovating?
If you're renovating to sell, I think your colour choices. Use your colour in your furnishings to bring that latest trend in rather than making a bathroom purple or something. For us, adding value to our property are the things which we best set to do. So do the bathrooms, because I'm a plumber. So we're not going to go in and buy a house that's half renovated with the bathrooms already done.
Investment potential. What's suburb, pocket? I mean, you're both Gold Coast locals. Where do you see the most potential future?
Oh, look.
All right, welcome to Buying Gold Coast, another guest episode today. I must say guests. So we got two amazing guests in the building, which I'll reveal in a second. But the reason I'm really excited around this episode, there's not only a Gold Coast element and theme, like these guys, we'll get a bit of their background, but they are locals to the GC. They've been in the public eye on a hit reality TV show, so we'll get some juice from that. But most of all, what I love is they're a family. They're balancing life, renovating property, trying to make the best they can for their family too. And I think they're going to have some really good insights into how they're doing their best. We're all having a crack at the end of the day. So stay tuned for this one. We've actually got the amazing Sonny and Alicia Applin. They were on the block season 2025. My personal favourites on the show.
Thank you.
And then little do people know, they actually run a really successful company plumbing on the Gold Coast too. So Apple's contracting as well. So we'll get some insight there. But guys, welcome to Buying Gold Coast.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, mate.
So excited.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I think first and foremost, everyone loves the block topic, right? It's such a big show. Like I watched the first season at Bondi, I think it was like back in the day.
Yeah.
Were you guys fans of the block, or were you one of those people that watched it? Or
I was. My mum was a massive Jamie Jury fan. He was the original host. I remember crawling into bed with mum. She's like, "Quick, get in," and we'd sit there and we'd watch it. So from day one, I've watched, and then I guess when
Leash moved in with me, and I sort of had to adapt a few of her habits, and we ended up watching the block, and then our kids watched the block with us, and. Yeah, we've been,
it's like that family show for us.
Years, so I've been watching it for 14 years and Leash a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. What surprise, upon reflection now, it's finished, we're in 2026. What do you think surprised you the most about the whole experience?
For me, it was, look, we went down there and we worked super hard. I fully expected that, but I worked hard in a different way to what I expected. I thought I'd go down there and I'd be on the tools and I would be like, Bob the Builder, really. But it was more an organisation role. And sure, we worked hard at times. Like on a Saturday, we do 17 hours on the tools straight, but sort of Monday through Thursday, my whole role was really organisation and cleaning up and doing being a bit of a gopher rather than physically picking up a hammer. So that was a big surprise for me.
Mine was different. Mine was actually, because I've watched the show for so long, when you see us ripping tiles off in the first week because the wrong glue's used, that's not a setup. That's actually happened. So our tilers had swap glue halfway through and hadn't said anything to us. So these things are...
They were our original tilers, not our best tilers.
Our original ones that left. But these things actually happen and you are ripping a floor up. You are taking tiles down And
you are building a room in literally a week. And some days when there's public holidays, you're building a room, where you got no tool time on those days in 5 days. We had Easter. And Anzac Day all sort of fell in the same week and we're still doing a room.
You still have to present at 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning, tools down.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me, I've always been curious, what percentage would you say, so it sounded like there was an element of more project managing. I've always just been curious because there are people who come on the show, literally no idea around property, renovating, whatever. What percentage, do you make the percentage of hands-on versus managing, or is it kind of just say you've got no experience, you get on the block.
Yeah.
Is it more you choose the designs and then they'll fulfill on the kind of work? Or
how it works really is the first few weeks I feel like we had an advantage because I'm from a trade background.
I always think that. I'm like, surely the ones with the trades
Absolutely.
have an
I
advantage.
Massive
know
advantage.
the process, right? So I know this has to happen after this, after that. Whereas if you walk in there and you've come straight from the hairdressing salon like the boys, they don't know that process. So the first couple of weeks I feel like that was a bit of an advantage for us. But then after a couple of weeks you get into a rhythm and that advantage gets shut up pretty quick because as I say, I'm not really on the tools. I'm merely managing. Now,
You're really that first week you're clinging to your builder because, you know, for those that don't know the process, they're clinging to their builder because they're like, they have no idea what the steps are. For me, I don't know. I come from a dental background, so I have no idea. So for me, I'm like clinging to our builder, Broads, and I'm like, what's next? What's happening? Where are we going? And, you know, I was fortunate enough that Sonny.
if you've got a good team too.
Yeah,
you have
your
to have a
team
good
is
team.
your massive
and that's
advantage.
a roll of dice too because you don't know. We have to ring up and find a builder before we go.
I was going to ask, do you find
You have
your
to
team?
find your
When
own.
we find out-
They don't give you a list. They don't
Really?
say, here's some local builders.
And you
You
got 3
are
weeks to do that.
Yeah.
Really?
You're on
Yeah.
your phone looking for your tiler, your builders. And it's not for everybody because they are long hours. They're all mic'd up just as we are.
Yeah.
So
And if they make a mistake, it's on national television. So you have to find the person who it fits because we run a lot of people and they're like, oh, that's not for me, mate.
Yeah, no
You know?
thanks.
And we were lucky enough to get onto Brody and his company SS Building Group. And they were 2 young blokes who'd gone out for a couple of years looking to further their business, were go-getters, you know, and they're like, yeah, we'll have a crack. And so,
he was a gun.
yeah, we're so lucky.
Yeah.
That's so true. So it's because, you'd have some builders who would nearly be scared of the show, wouldn't they? Because, I think they're like, how lucky are all these builders and trade? But then you're right. So some of them got
gotta put
roasted.
yourself out
Yeah,
there.
well, our
This is-
Tyler,
yeah.
he lasted 1 week and he was like, this isn't for
And that
me.
would affect the reputation, I
Well,
guess.
Absolutely.
There was a stuff up there, and he was concerned of how they would look. And I remember walking in there, I felt like a footy coach, to be honest, because everything was falling down around our ears, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so.
And I went to walk off to go get some breath. I walked 10 metres out the house. I'm like, a real leader doesn't do that. Turn around. I went back in. I said, look, boys, like, yes, we've got to fix this. But people are going to remember that you fixed it, not that you stuffed it. So
True.
let's kick on. He'd also give me a per metre rate. So therefore he wasn't making any more money. It wasn't an hourly rate. Like he had to do this on his own back. And I had 4 or 5 tilers in there who were devoed, weren't they? But that's the thing. It's about how you fix things, you know. But in the end, after that whole episode, he said, it's not for us. And we were lucky enough to get the Curcios after that.
Thank God.
Yeah. And lastly, on the sort of block topic, what is the biggest perspective that you think viewers don't see that happens whilst you're on the show?
Look, there's so much they don't see.
Oh.
They're filming for 17 hours a day and there's 5 couples. So, you know, like it's like 700 hours or something footage a week. And you're seeing on TV, what,
Yeah, true.
maybe 4.5 hours because between ads and whatever else and repeats of stuff. So there is so much that goes on. And so that story sort of is...
Can go anywhere.
It can go anywhere, you know, because everyone's doing everything, you know. But look, it's as a whole, it is a pretty good representation of what goes on, but there's also a lot you don't see.
If you were to give feedback, there'd be the next gen of Alicia's listening to this right now and they've been waiting for their shot,
Yeah.
you know. What would be your advice to them? Just say one of them gets the call for this upcoming. I know they've got some application for the upcoming season. What would be your piece of advice to this next gen, Sonny and Alicia, who are just eager to get on the show?
Just be yourself. I just think there's nothing more, whether the good, the bad, the ugly. I cried, I got upset, I had disagreements, but I always stayed
I did
true
the
to
same.
who
I
I
cried
was.
plenty too.
Yeah, we both did. We were known as a crying couple. But just be yourself and just have a crack. Like there's so much. I never thought I could create a wallpaper, and I created 2 that the judges were stoked with, you know, and I don't consider myself a creative, but I just got in, had a crack, and just made sure I enjoyed everything. So
It's such a rewarding experience, isn't it? Like
we had honestly
the
best.
whole thing, those 3 months that we spent building that house was probably some of the best times of our life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made it that you feel like, if you were to knuckle it down into what made it some of the best
The
times?
people around the show and in the show.
It's
Yeah.
why it's a juggernaut,
Yeah,
because the
that's-
team that they've created is unbeatable, I think.
Yeah.
And it's why the block is what it is, because
The same people do it every year. It's not,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like, yes, people come and go, but there's a core group of people who are there every year.
And they're just the best humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that. Felt like a good crew this year too.
It was.
But,
It really was.
What's this could be some add value to the listener right now going through maybe a renovation. Obviously, the block is a renovation under immense pressure. I feel like there's a lot.
Absolutely.
And you've got all these mics and cameras on you.
Yeah.
What would be your biggest tip to the people going through a renovation on the Gold Coast right now to handle, I guess, pressure, whether it's a deadline, whether it's budget constraint? Is there any advice you'd give to those people right now?
Look, we're doing that at the moment.
We're
I've
in the
got
thick of
budget
it, yeah.
constraints. I've got my wife who's a time constraint. She wants that place like
Better and now.
We just had a conversation.
I've been whinging about this for the last 2 days, so this is very fitting that you say that. I've been whinging at Alicia's best mate's husband. We've been going back and forth, and it's like we all want these things. You know what I mean? We want to sell our house. The ideal time to sell it from who we're dealing with, our agent says March, April. So we want to finish our house and try and get it on the market, buy something else in closer to town. But I've also got to pay for that renovation. I've also got to, get it done to a good standard. And also then I've got to decide which bits I'm going to do and which bits I'm not going to do because, we got to work out that cash
We've
flow,
lent into our real estate agent with that, with her advice and sort of had her out. We sat down for a couple of hours and I sort of said, like, where do we pull up? Like, how much do we put into it? Where do we pull up? Do we go the whole hog and complete downstairs as an entire level finished? Or do we just sort of do the bathrooms, flooring, give it a bit of a zhuzh with paint and curtains and be done?
Like do we do the laundry?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On that ground floor, like.
We really need to work out our budget.
Got to work out what you're putting into it and what you're going to get out of it.
The ROI,
Yeah. And so that's tough. And like when you're dealing with a business,
trying
kids,
to run a business, kids.
everything else. And like, so when I'm not at work, I'm also taking away from there to do renos at home, And so is that return on investment going to be, better spent in my house or at work? And then what bits do I do myself? Because am I better off paying someone who, like I get all right rates because I've got mates in every trade, rather than me spending twice the time doing something and then just concentrate on my business. So for us, it's a real juggle, isn't it?
It's such a good mindset. Like I just love productivity and time hack. I love reading books on that stuff, and I'm always big on like where's your time and energy going? Your green light energy versus red light, because that's a really good point actually. Now that I'm reflecting and relating it to from business to renovating, because renovating is a business at the end of the day. Like it's you're there to make money at the end of the day. Yep. No one renovates to sell to lose money, right?
Well, the more money we make now is going to be easier for us to get the house we want to buy next.
We're trying to set ourselves up with that, sort of flip the next one, and then hopefully maybe after that we'll be in a better position to be able to build something like a forever. But
like our aim at the moment is to get out of ours, buy something we'll probably flip, and then we're looking at maybe putting pretty close to nudging out our mortgage, hopefully, what I mean? There's no guarantees, but it might take 2 more houses to do that. But that's also then being able to choose the right house next.
That's the vision too. At least you got some sort of vision as well, where I think value to anyone listening is because we've had so many great renovators and developers on it, they've all got kind of the end in mind.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like whether it's the mortgage gone, it's the forever home on the water, whatever it is. It seems like everyone's working towards. Sometimes it isn't going to be the next flip, and like I like what you said there. It might be the next 2 or whatever it may be. I think just quickly, no right or wrong answer. Just curious, how do you manage that allocation of time and energy? Because you're exactly right. A lot of people listening do run their own business. They do want to build wealth through renovating property. Maybe a lot of these renovators at the moment are tradies too. So there's that. Am I better spent doing this myself, but then my energy goes down and I need to take Monday, Tuesday off for my business,
Yeah.
Is there anything you think about, or?
We try to work as a team, I guess. Since coming back from the block, I don't work. I'm trying to help Sonny as much as I can now between the kids and whatnot. But for me, I'm trying to organise and get our ducks in a row, reaching out to suppliers and trying to line everything up so that Sonny can just
have time for.
Come in and then say, right, I say to Sonny, right, the curtains, the floor, I've sorted the flooring. This is when it's coming. This is, I'm trying to help him as much as I can so that we can work as a team and sort of take that
it's
pressure
not that
off.
I'm not interested in that, but
we've
just done the block. I trust her to choose the right stuff too. So sometimes she's like, can you look at this? I'm like, I'm fine with it. You know what I mean? Like, does my opinion actually matter? Like, but
when
like,
he's spending decent money on flooring and carpet, like I want to make
we've
sure that
just
he
been
likes
through
it. But
3 months there where she's literally there and I'm here and
we don't see
she's
each other.
making those decisions and I'm on site just putting them in, and I quite like that. You know? It's like,
Yeah.
I guess you just really have to make sure that you're working as a team and having that open communication. We were just sitting out before we came in looking at curtains for the house, you know, and having a look, are we running it under the cornice? Are we running it from the ceiling? So just those sort of things I just sort of like to cross-check, whereas working as a team, I guess.
I love it. There's so much, and it just shows you're in business, right? Because not everyone has that mentality, because business, like the sport of business, it is a game of trust and being able to let go to grow, right? And allocating resources and time to different people. And the one word I wrote in capital, team. It sounds like you guys, first takeaway to anyone listening is team mentality. Like if you want to do this, it's hard to do it alone.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to do it
and
alone.
that's the same with my work. Like I had to, this year when we went away, I really had to step back from my business and allow my boys to just do what they do, which to me, I've always been a bit of a control
He's a
freak.
control freak.
I started the business in 2007 and it's my business, you know what I mean? It was just me. And so now there's sort of, you know, I've sort of got 3 full-time workers and 3 subbies, you know, so there's 6 blokes who are relying on me to feed them each week as such, you know. And so for me to step back from that while we were away was a definite challenge, but it made me realise that I don't actually have to be holding their hand.
Yeah.
It's all who you surround yourself with.
Isn't it? That's one of the biggest ones. Some of the best entrepreneurs I know, it took something like whether they got sick, whether they had to support a family, whether they went away for a period of time to realise like actually like if you empower others and they have no choice, then they'll do it.
They just step up.
People are capable, but I just was a bit of a micromanager, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
and most people are too, right? Especially if you're the founder, right? For sure. For sure.
When
So
your name's on the line.
yeah, it's a really, really, really good mentality. And the crazy thing I've learned in business too is like when you actually empower others and let them do it. And I absolutely love what you said. It's a mentality I use around like bottleneck always starts at the top sometimes, like putting the responsibility down. So it's like if, say, Alicia's role is to do X in the project, I trust your job. Like if I give you the answer, I'm doing your job for you. So why would I be, you know what I mean? And
what's the
it's
point?
such a good, I love that. You're just like, all right, I trust that if you want to do that, you do it. If it stuffs up, you'll find a solution, I'm sure. We'll work together.
The thing is too, if it stuffs up, we can both accept that. You know what I mean? And I don't know whether it's, sometimes it might be different in business, but as a married couple, like you really got to support each other. So if I, you know, do something at home, I've got to cut out the wall and redo it, she's not going to yell at me. You know what I mean? Same goes if we make a slightly wrong decision.
It's just part of the process, I
it's part
think,
of the
and you
process.
just have to move on and just support each other.
And you got the common goal at the end of the day, right? Hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both our names on that mortgage.
Yeah. Well, you'd want to hope you're going to the same destination.
Well, see you after the reno.
Yeah, 100%. Talk to me around your renovation sort of history. Are you sort of new to it after the block, or have you done renos in the past? Like, what's your sort of background with renovations?
What's the way we describe that? We've renovated for need, I suppose.
Out of necessity. So when I met Sonny, he already had a property in Mermaid Waters, so we eventually
Runner Street there. It was lovely spot on the coast. And
Great spot.
was always a rental, and then we
dual living, but that had,
yeah.
which was when I was a young single man, I lived in a granny flat out the back and rented the house out.
The house.
It was perfect. And then met
I brought my
Alicia,
hair straightener over, and then the rest is
she didn't
history.
move out. And we actually left there for a little while because my sister had a property. We had to look after her dogs for a while, and then come back and moved into the house. Now, the house was a 3-bedroom house with a study and 2 living areas. Now, we have 3 kids. We needed another bedroom. So the study and the extra living area become the main bedroom and ensuite, which meant the house only had 1 living area, which
If you've got 3
as
kids.
the kids started growing up, didn't work. Now we had this space out the back, which was this granny flat, which was,
Income.
42 square meters, had its own kitchen, had everything, had income. I was getting $450 a week for it. Great. Getting that money towards the mortgage. But if that space was on the house, we would have been sweet. Because my kids are too young. It's not like I could send a teenager out there. So we sold, didn't we? Which, like the position was great, everything's great. The house just did not suit. right? So we sold the house. We completely renovated that granny flat.
Yeah, from ground up.
It was beautiful, you know, like, and that was sort of the selling point for our house. The actual house was pretty average, you know. Sold that, and then we couldn't get back in the market.
What year is this on the Gold Coast?
We've
Just after COVID, wasn't it? We've been in our house 4 years.
We sold at the back end of COVID.
Must have been 2022,
Gotcha. Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
And like we knew we weren't going to be able to stay in Mermaid Waters, but we were like, maybe we could get into, say, Reedy Creek. And we were at Reedy Creek, and I was away. Alicia's
Sonny was away. I was putting offers in
on
on houses he hadn't even seen. We were desperate. We were homeless because we'd sold. I was making offers and getting outbid. So that's
just outbid, like just getting pipped.
And these were houses that probably weren't even suitable, but we were desperate just to get in the market.
Gotcha.
We just needed to get our foot in anywhere. Anyway, we ended up bringing our agent now, and I just said,
Carly Townsend, she works out of Benogan, and we're like, mate, we got to move that a little bit further. We'd driven out Benogan, we had friends out there, and nice place, you know. We're like, we'll move to Benogan, but we'll only go as far as this street. Anyway, didn't happen. We looked, and then we looked at heaps of houses. We've come to our current house, and it was the first house that we both walked into. We went our separate ways, come back together, and went, oh. And then sort of went our separate ways again. It was first one that we actually wanted to spend.
Well, we had grand plans of renovating it, and this was going to be our forever home. We were going to renovate to live there forever. It was suitable, but now that we're there, it's
the floor plan's 400 square metres, our house. It's a massive house, you know. The kids are all upstairs. There's 3 living spaces. There's like a little granny flat downstairs, which we don't even go in. It so happens it had 2 kitchens, not a selling point for us, but there used to be twins who lived there, and one lived upstairs, one lived downstairs. And then we spent 3.5 years out there, and we're a bit bipolar, aren't we? We love it 1 second, but the driving for Leash was all right when you were working, wasn't it? Because she into town once, drop the kids off, come, you know, pick them up, go home. Whereas now that she's working for me, it's sort of in and out all the time. And we're really beach people. We've grown up on the beach, things like that. So we just want to move that on and try and get ourselves
back
in
to
a
the
bit
renovating
closer.
question. We've just done the granny flat in our bathrooms.
Gotcha. Yeah,
that's it.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
So it's nearly your journey has taken you via. I love what you said. Renovating as a necessity versus moving forward, and potentially a block played a part in it. In like, hey, let's renovate for future abundance and goals.
It's not
with
something
our
that
family.
I'd ever consider. I've been in dental. I was a nanny, and then I left the kids because the kids were all grown up, and then we started our own family. And I sort of went back into dental. I've been in dental for like 20 years. So
there you go.
Like flipping houses and renovating's something that I've never been interested in. I love property. I sit up at night and go through property all the time. I love it. When we found our house, it was disappointing because I'm like, what are we going to do on the weekend?
Over. Yeah,
what are we going to do on the weekend? I love it. And so, now we're back on that path again. I find it exciting, but it's also something, I guess, now that I'm probably confident in to go and put a whole house together. So.
That's really good feedback, Alicia. What would be your advice then? Because your scenario is so common. It's not always the female either. Sometimes the male. They love property. Like they genuinely love it. Like we get so many people. They love property. But it's really scary to do a renovation, right? Like it's super scary, especially if you're not from that area. What would be your advice to kind of people in there who they want to do it, but they may be scared?
Yeah, I think it's just a whole thing of just trusting yourself and
lean on people who can give you advice too.
I was massive for that when we were away.
Take it, but
I would say I love this. This is like sort of my end goal. What do you reckon? This is what I've thought, but I mean, this is your domain. You tell me what you think. Same with Jazz at 3 Balls Red. I go into Jazzy and I'm like, I love this, Jazz. I love these tiles. I'll put something together and then I'm like, what do you reckon? And she'll be like, love it. What about if? And she'll make her suggestion. And then I'm like, wow, I really rely on those people that are in those trades to give me their opinion as well, because it's what they do, right? It's what they're passionate about. It's, I always lean on everybody around me to learn. So I figure if I'm learning, it's like Darren, we see Darren at the block and I'm like, what about this? And he'll make a suggestion. Hey, Leash, go and have a look at John O'Fleming's Instagram. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this stuff. And sort of, I guess really just jump in. That's
in
what
a
I
world
did.
full of Pinterest and Instagram too, like you're constantly on those pages checking out. And my feed's full of stuff that she sends me all the time saying, I like this, I like that. You know,
Yeah.
and so just have your eyes open, hey?
Eyes open and just trust yourself and lean on those that are in the industry. That's
Yeah.
what they do. That's, if you want to buy a house or we're looking, I'm going to ring you and say, hey, Matt, this is the area. What do you reckon? And I know you're going to give me your honest opinion, right? So
Yeah, so it really sounds like if you are inexperienced about it, you want to do it, find people who are experts in there. Don't be afraid to reach out.
ask the questions. Give them your suggestions.
And
I'd
it
probably
depends what
go
you're
through
renovating for too.
Yeah.
If you're renovating for yourself
True.
or you're renovating for
the
sale.
market.
Yeah, because like what we did down in Dalesford at the block is a whole different thing because it's a design show. It's a real estate game and a design show. You need to win the design show so you can get money to finish your place so you can sell your house for the most money. So
We're at home and it's a different game.
we would not
Very
be doing what
true.
we're doing down there in our house because we're going to sell it.
I'm not putting a Navy kitchen in.
Very
at home.
true,
It's
yeah.
polarizing. I want to do something that everybody can walk in and go, you know what, I could live here. It's, you need to broaden your horizon, I think, a little bit.
This is a really good question, I feel, might add some value. What do you think adds value versus what do you think looks good?
Oh,
I think for us, adding value to our property are the things which we are best set to do. So do the bathrooms, because I'm a plumber. Those sort of things. For us, stick to the lane that we know, don't you think? And if we're looking for our next house, we just went through a house on the weekend at Burleigh. And to us, it was a pretty good house because they've done what they call a reno, but they've really just painted it and done the floors. But none of the bathrooms are done. None of those things that we can do quite easily are done. So we're not going to go in and buy a house that's half renovated with the bathrooms already done because that's our point of expertise.
Yes. That makes sense. Yeah, so it's nearly you've identified, I guess, where your area of strength is. Yeah. And then kind of, hey, I could capitalize on that and add value versus, what looks
well,
good,
it's like
pretty-
what we did with the first property. We knew that the granny flat would be a selling point, right? So we put all our money into the granny flat because it's another income on your property. So for someone that's wanting to come and
The granny flat was so much nicer than the house.
but it was like someone could come in and say, right, well, the granny flat's done. I can rent that out while I
Which
renovate the
the
house.
actual people who bought it did.
Yeah,
They
which
lived in
did,
a granny flat and renovated the house.
Yeah.
Because things go around in circles. I actually ended up there doing the reno.
There you go. Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? Like I always say this around like value on property too. Like everyone will see value differently depending on the property. Like a young professional couple might not see value in their granny flat versus a family who wants to do a reno and they need more space for their grandparents or they just had kids. They would love that. Then they probably will pay extra and the people are like, oh, that seems expensive. But it's like, hey, if they see value in that versus, and just like you said, there could be people who don't want the bathrooms done because it's expensive, right? And you look at it and you're like, I'd rather the opposite.
Yeah.
So everyone sees value
We're in a pickle
differently.
with that at home at the moment because we have 2 kitchens. Our house is essentially dual living, but
there's no access.
There's
to the
no
upper
dual
floor.
access, right?
So it's not dual living, it's sort of.
So our kids are upstairs with their own kitchen, their own bathroom, their own lounge room, 3 bedrooms upstairs, like quite a large living space upstairs. Do we take the kitchen out
and turn it into another bedroom?
So we'll have a 6-bedroom home. Or do we leave the kitchen and hope that maybe a family's coming through with older kids that they're happy?
It's about what we got to invest to
I
do
don't
that.
know what to do. This is where we're
Time
stuck in
and
our
money.
reno. Like we get stuck too. Like we don't know what to do. And like we've asked our agent, she wants it out. We're kind of like, well, a kitchen's expensive to put in. So this might suit somebody who wants to move in with their elderly parents and,
Whereas it's not so probably as expensive to turn it from a kitchen to
a
to
bedroom.
But a bedroom back to a kitchen when the kitchen's gone is quite a large expense.
And I know exactly what you mean. And sometimes that's the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you could have the buyer is the 2 families who are teaming up on the mortgage because of the price. And I did a full episode, literally it released a while ago by the time this is released, but check it out. It was all around the biggest trends right now. And I found dual living and granny flats are starting to become huge because of I call them dinks, dual income, no kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ability for them to get into the market is getting harder.
Yes.
They want to have kids literally within the 12 months. They're working professionals, dual income, and the parents are retired. They want to be closer to the kid. It's become really, really common. So again, it would just depend on, that's a really good way of looking at it, is the cost versus opportunity. Who's your end buyer?
Yeah, that's
going to be
our problem, because look, it surely that would suit. It suited someone before us. It doesn't suit us. The second kitchen has never been used upstairs by us, But
Not
there
to
is
say.
someone there who's going to pay extra dollars to have that, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, that's the fun. That's that. I always say,
but is that off-putting? And then maybe it's not. But like,
Welcome to our head.
and I was gonna say before we move to the next sort of topic, but how do you sprinkle, or because those sprinkle of thoughts will always come when renovating, right?
Yeah.
Like, any advice on that? Because if you're a first-time renovator, or maybe you're new to the renovation game, to go from a feature wall to a color wall, to go to this palette to that, there's so many choices.
Yeah.
You get decision fatigue, I'm sure.
yeah.
How do you navigate that?
You make your plan and you just stick to it, because like you said, things will pop up and you'll be like, oh, I should have done that. But you just have to have your vision, I guess. Just have your vision and know, you just have to have your end game in mind all the time, because sure, I could go, oh no, wait a second, I want to wallpaper that. Or, I want to spend $2,000 and I want a rock wall,
But you don't get that $2,000 back when you sell the place.
You just have to make your plan and stick to it, because you have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. So
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And that decision fatigue that you're saying, I think that's probably why Alicia asked me for my advice sometimes, because she's probably sick of making those
by the
decisions.
end of the show, I think at the block, I was just like, you know what, we're done. Not even talking about it. This is what you're putting in.
Yeah.
We are done.
You're just going for it. Yeah.
And so I think we get a bit of that at home. You know what? I'm just going to paint the walls white and put some
Run with
timber
it.
floors in, and it'll just work. Yeah.
Love it. What do you think would be the maybe 2 or 3 key elements not to get wrong? Like with renovating, is it maybe the floor plan, the front facade? Tell me what.
Your layout.
Yeah, you reckon?
Layout.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
First thing. Yeah. Layout
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. You need to have that correct flow
Yeah.
through everything.
And then if you're renovating to sell, I think your colour choices. I listened to your podcast with Darren, and like he said, the trend might be for this, but don't do something that's hard to change, is what he said, which I thought was really good. Use your colour in your furnishings to bring that latest trend in, rather than making a bathroom purple or something.
You want it to be livable. You want it, like I said earlier, you want everybody to walk in and be like, oh, I can just put my shoes at the front door, put my bag down, I'm home. And for me, that's what I always want to create, not just, oh, I love it. I want you to come over and be like, yeah, sick, I want to live here.
Yeah.
That
homely
warm
feel.
Yeah, that's always our end goal, is to make it home.
Homely, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that translates to my next question. If you're now knowing what you know from the block experience, your years running plumbing business and the trades, when you're looking for a renovator now, what are the things that within 5 minutes you're like, yep, this is the one, or no?
This is exactly why we're moving, because for us, the amenities, like you've spoken about it before, we've got 3 kids. 2 are going one way to one school and one's going to another. So we need to have transport close by.
Sport after sport after sport.
We are in the car 24/7. I'm taking the kids. They're trained at Tugan. Our other son's training at Brisbane at the moment. So we are everywhere. So for us, being close into town where the kids can ride themselves down to the shop and get a milkshake, or amenities, is what we are looking for this time.
Our
because
we have to have 2 living spaces. We know with our kids that that's the first, why we sold our first house. We need 2 living spaces, because they need to be able to watch whatever they want. We need to be able to and have that little space.
And then we can make it what we want after
And then,
that.
probably make sure that floor plan will work for that,
we need to,
Ideally for us, we got a young daughter. We'd love her to probably have her own bathroom too. Because she's got 2 younger brothers who, it's not yet, but I can see in a few years there's going to be chaos.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh,
True. Practicality.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
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 That's what we've come to realize, I guess, living out in the valley, is what we miss about everything from Mermaid. It's just so practical.
Isn't it an interesting concept, right? The location versus the dwelling.
Yes.
And I find it's a really good question to ask yourself if you're a buyer right now. what is more important to you? Is it the location or is it the dwelling? Like so many people are not fast on location because they need maybe the dual living.
Yeah.
Hard to find. So I'll look from, that end of the coast to
Yeah.
that end of the coast, hinterland.
Yeah.
Whereas, I find probably more on this side is location. I'm finding more and more on the Gold Coast. Like people will sacrifice maybe the condition a little bit for amenities.
Yeah,
we
that was us.
changed, didn't we? We
Yeah.
bought the dwelling right now and forgoed the location. We
It's-
thought that's what we needed and
Our
wanted.
house is huge. Like
Now we're going to sacrifice so much on that dwelling.
we're coming back into
For
the
location.
Yeah, for
Interesting.
location.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a real world
Yeah.
example. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like we've got mates who live out in the valley. They've got 3 kids, the same as us, and they don't mind the drive, but they stay
live a
home over
different life
weekend.
to
They
us.
live a different life.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where our boys are we're about to be at footy training 4 nights a
I
week.
feel like our neighbours around where we live just go, why do these people move out here? Because they're just
Never
They're
home.
never home. And again, it comes down to, like, what do you need in your lifestyle right now?
And at your point of life. When our
Yes.
kids were a bit younger, it's been fine. But now that they're getting to the age where they want to be able to ride their bike to their mate's place, they want to be able to do those things. Our daughter's 13, the boys are close behind. I grew up here on the Gold Coast doing that. I used to
both
get on my
did.
push bike
Yeah.
and I would ride in the holidays from, Broadbeach to a mate's place at Mermaid to a mate's place at Ashmore and back
And
home.
I was the other end. I was palmy.
Let alone on
yeah,
an electric
yeah.
bike, you know what I mean? These days
Yeah.
they go
Oh,
anywhere.
mate,
Yeah.
it's wild,
Oh.
isn't it? Yeah.
And so I want them, I don't want to get in too much trouble, but I want them to be able to
Get
grow
amongst it,
and be able
Yeah.
to get out and get a bit of that,
Life experience.
life experience, but by being able to ride to the shops, do what they need to do.
100%. Growing up in Western Brisbane, I'd come down to the Gold Coast. I just see the kids like who are similar age, like coming through high school, and I'm just like, what a lot! Like,
Yeah.
this is the dream. Like,
Went
as
to
a-
Eleanor High. Used to ride. My parents live. They're still in the same house. Still used to ride our bike or up to 19th Ave Beach
No
every
way.
arvo for a swim or like the touch fields. I
That's
grew
our
up there.
prerequisite is
Yeah.
we want to be able to ride to the beach.
Yeah.
to our next place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We
want
wanna be
that
able to-
same
yeah.
lifestyle that we had for
That you
our
grew up.
kids. Yeah.
Love that.
So location-wise, rideable to the beach,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And it's a really good, I guess, self-reflection. Again, this will help so many buyers is spend the time, think what's important for now, what's important for
Absolutely.
are you having kids or are your kids nearly leaving?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that a lot too. Like people
Yeah.
buy for now, but then within 2 years, the kids are gone.
Yeah.
They've moved out. The house is too big.
Maybe
They're
you want a
downsizing.
unit on the beach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
Planting the
grew
seed.
up living in units. Like my parents always, I lived in Broadbeach and Surface my whole life, and that was some of the, it was a great lifestyle living on the beach, and my backyard was the surf and the sand. It was great.
Sounds like your kids are really a big part of your life, obviously, by the
Yeah.
sounds of it. How do you balance, I guess, big goals whilst being present parents?
We've put ourselves on the back burner for many years. Our kids, we do everything for, they're our whole life. We both grew up playing a lot of sport, and we always said when
Being
we were
involved,
pregnant, we were like, we wanted our kids to have our life. Our parents had us at every surf club carnival. I was at every touch comp. My brother was playing footy. Like we were in and around that all the time. So we've always said to each other when we had the kids, that's what we live
If
for.
they say I want to play a sport,
Sweet.
we make it happen.
Even
Love
if it's
it.
something
Right.
that we don't know
Yeah.
anything about, we're like,
Yeah.
all right, let's go.
Yeah.
But but then also too, as they've gotten, when you're in the trenches, when the kids are 2 and 3, there's no you time. There's none. You're just getting through what you can get through. But as they've slowly gotten older, we've tried to make sure we make time for ourselves. And, whether I'm going for a run or Sonny's swimming, he loves his ocean swimming. So making sure that we have time for ourselves to keep ourselves mentally healthy too, I guess. Is
Like even going on the block,
important to us.
we always said, a lot of people say it, we could do that. But we never actually seriously thought about applying till our kids are of an age where they knew what it was all about.
Yeah, they weren't going to be
They're not
sitting.
like,
yeah.
where's mum and dad? They like, mum and dad are at the block. Like we're capable of making our own lunch in the morning. We're not like a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old who is like, where's mum and dad gone for 4 months?
True.
And so it wasn't
That's okay
until,
for some people, but for us,
well, we
just-
wanted to sort of be
Yeah.
there,
Yeah, well, they're little.
And what about the future? Do you worry like the kids of the future? Let's just say your kids, for example. Do you worry about the property market
Yeah.
for them?
Oh, we talk about it all the time.
It's hard enough for us.
Yeah, like we're in our 40s, and, it's I don't know. My brother's never bought a property. He's just turned 40 and he's missed the boat really. I think personally, and so for us and our kids, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Well, you have this grand idea that you'd like to build enough wealth that what we have eventually becomes theirs. You know what I mean?
It'll affect.
We might live till we're 92. You know what I mean?
I am.
Later.
Yeah.
But so does that work? But look, I had help from my parents to get into the market. So you'd like to be able to do the same for your kids.
We should have just had one.
Back in the day, I couldn't get a loan, and so I paid the mortgage, but my parents helped me get the loan.
It's awesome.
Because there was no way that they would have given me a loan. And so things like that, you think, well, maybe, and as you say, with granny flats, the like of it, it's starting to become a bit more, housing's become a bit more generational, I think. But especially on the Gold Coast, and
it's never been the Aussie way, really, when you think about it. Generational living,
especially
I moved out home, and the minute I could get out of there, I was gone. Whereas now there's kids 35 who are still at home.
We asked the kids at the dinner table the other night.
They reckon they're not leaving. So
the boys aren't leaving. Our daughter's like, as soon as I'm old enough, I'm going at 16.
Yeah, that's right. I said, how are you going to pay rent? She says, I'll get a job. I'm like, yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? I seen some sort of stat like kids are staying longer.
I stayed till I was 27.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Just moved from there to my place.
Yeah.
Dad kept going, are you ready to go yet?
Well,
no.
It's just the way the Gold Coast is evolving, I guess, as a city too, and now town planning with being able to. I remember back in the day, you actually weren't allowed to rent out different things. You could do it under the books, but like granny flat, they're all for it now.
Yeah.
So rent it out separately. We need to house people because we don't have enough dwellings available.
It's funny, when I was 18, 19, and I had mates that lived in Sydney, you saw what's going on here in Sydney. They couldn't buy a place. They would have to stay with their parents, or they'd have to find, whereas you think, that'd never happen. And then, a few years down the track, it's really happening here.
It's happening here.
And people are getting priced out of the market. Everyone wants to live within that, where we want to live, rideable to the beach, but it's pretty hard to get in there.
It is, yeah. It's getting harder and harder. Actually brings me to our property of the week, brought to you by the team at Srama. Speaking of young families, so the team actually secured an off-market property in a suburb, Palm Beach. Similar, one of their criteria was bike ride to the beach. So the team managed to get them something on 24th Ave, great little pocket. Yeah, nice little 405 medium density off-market. They got it for 1.6. Comps were all sitting around the 1.8s in there. And what they're going to do, they'll either go behind the block or in front of the block. It's your classic 2-bed shack, palmy, bit of character kind of thing. So, really happy for them. The team did really well to secure that one off market. If you are looking on the coast right now, reach out to the team at Srama and they'll look after you. But in saying that, guys, with the Gold Coast, the stretch we're talking around, Mermaid, Palmies, Burleys, things like that. Where do you see the evolution of our city? Is it just purely going up? Is it going where you are at the moment? Is it going into Tweed? Because more people are moving here. There are so many people moving here. What do we do?
Well, Leash especially says that we live in the bush, right? We live in Benogan, which is a 15-minute drive to Robina.
Just quickly, I'll tell you what's wild. We work with so many people from interstate and that, and us as Southeast Queenslanders are the hinterland, They're just what? You can get acreage and you're 12 minutes from the sand. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly, I know.
So I can see people from interstate not calling it the bush out there and be happy living in maybe more estates out on the other side of the highway.
Privacy too.
Because whether it's acreage
beautiful,
or whatever it is, because you can get into town pretty quick compared to Sydney and the like. But I think for locals, if you want to live in that corridor and you see it now, the light rail's going through and all the town plans change and everything's going up, that's where if you might have to change your lifestyle from wanting a house to moving into an apartment, if that's where you want to live.
And it comes back, I guess, to that self-reflection of, location versus...
I just had a conversation with one of the kids' school teachers. He's been trying to get in Eleanor Palmy and he's like, because I've got a couple of girlfriends that sell. They're still there from school days. And they're like, can you please help me? Can you ring your girlfriends and help me? And I just said to him, maybe you're going to have to be, because he's like, this is all I've got to spend. I'm like, well, like same for us. Maybe you're going to have to broaden your area of search because, you want this, but
what you want and what you could get. Maybe two different
so
things.
like he's gone from wanting Palm Beach to Eleanor to moving to Reedy Creek, which is still, still got the shops down the road. Your beach is probably an extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I guess, having to broaden that horizon of, broadening your area of.
Yeah.
Weighing up what means the most.
Exactly, yeah. Our team always, if this adds any value to anyone, like a little triangle, think price, condition and location.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're still out of the market or you're struggling to find what you want, just do a quick audit on your price, your condition, location. Generally, if you haven't found anything within the 60, 90 days, just something's misaligned somewhere. And potentially, I find this common, exactly what you said, like they're fixated on a location, for example. They want a house. The house is long gone for the budget.
Yeah.
What I find most people compromise that they're still happy when we check back in with them is they compromise the house for a townhouse or a duplex where it's still the feel of a house. The size is done, but they've got the amenities. I find that's a quick little win sometimes. If you're going on sold section and your budget, you can't see any houses, you're going to have to shift
That's really
location
good
or
advice,
townhouse.
Just with the real estate sort of side of things, it's also a challenge when you're looking for a house that none of these places got prices on them. You know what I mean? And you go and you're like, okay, I've got 1.8 to spend. You put 1.8 and it's showing you houses which are clearly out of your reach.
Yeah.
And so I think people get a false hope in that as well because they're like, oh, well, I've typed in 1.8 into realestate.com but they're all like probably $2.2 million houses, So I think that's a bit tough.
And you're going to go through it as a seller too, right? Like an agent's job is to attract people through the door, marketing strategies. So, pricing dialogue is to get people competing.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
it's a funny shift, isn't it? Going from seller to buyer to seller to buyer. Like that.
Oh my God, I'd never bought a
You'd be
house.
dealing with both.
Yeah, you do.
I'd never bought until we bought this house together because Sonny already had Mermaid when I met him. So this whole process when we were doing it, I was like, oh my gosh. I was up, I was down,
It's such an emotional roller coaster, wasn't it? We were like, and we'd miss out on something. We'd think it's the end of the world. Like,
now you're like,
we missed this
I think
place.
we'll be,
And you're like,
I think we'll be
gutted.
more stable.
Yeah,
next
maybe.
time.
Anyone who's got through the block unscathed, you're still here, right?
We're still married.
You're still
It's
here.
an emotional process,
Still
but
here.
isn't it? Even the house we looked at, last week,
Yeah,
we're not
Burnley
ready to
Waters.
buy. Like our kids are going through there like, oh yes, this
This is my room. This is my bedroom. I'm like,
And so like you already got everyone's hopes up about something that we know is not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
we're
And
just
so it's
sussing
such
out what's around.
Yeah, we're just having a sniff and it's like all of a sudden the kids are moving in.
Oh, I love that. As we finish off, guys, I really want to touch, guys, especially Sonny, on your involvement with like men's mental health. I know that's a big advocate. I heard some things on the show too.
Yeah.
How did that all come around? And you do some stuff with, is it TIACS? Is it?
TX came out on
TX, yeah.
site actually, and that it was just funny because you're going through the block and you're like heightened emotion, and I've always sort of had a an interest in it, but they spoke and it really hit me right here. You know what I mean? Look, I've got 6 men who work for me. I've got a bunch of good mates, and we've had people who have committed suicide, things like that. I've always liked to think I'm pretty level-headed, but you have your days where it gets to you. Now TACs are doing quite a lot for blue-collar workers. They have a line set up where you can text or call, and they fund this by selling high-vis shirts. So that company is actually trademarked, and a certain amount of those shirts goes to funding this. And so they're actually just out there doing stuff, which is, for me, it really, people will forget who we are in a year.
Yeah.
And so for me, whenever I've had the chance, I've just liked to talk about it, just purely because, we've had people come up to us since I spoke about it on the show who, come up to us in a few things that we went to, and they're like, I rung the next week, I did this, I did that. So
Thank you for speaking about it.
thank you for speaking up
So
about
good.
it.
Yeah.
So to just put it out there, anyone who's having dramas and anyone, there's always someone to talk to, whether that's your mate, your wife, or these blokes if you want to talk to someone anonymously. TACS, so TIACS, and they've got a hotline set up. Give them a call.
Yeah, it's so good, and there'd probably be a lot of tradies listening to this, right now, right? And they're probably going between job to job. They're carrying the weight of their business. They're
And
carrying the weight of the family at home.
Yeah.
They're probably the main provider.
Yeah.
You don't talk around that stuff at the work site.
Yeah.
You hide that. And it's becoming something that they feel like they always need to be the strong one and the strong one on site and then at home and things like that. So it really opened my eyes to that whole. I come from the professional sport background, and they're doing a lot more in that space. But when you were on the show, I was like, man, that whole world, that is so, it'd be prevalent, huge.
Like you walk on site and there's, maybe 2 women to every, 100 people. So it's 98% men. And there's 98% of men who, as you say, most of the time are, doing the heavy lifting, I suppose. Not to say that women aren't, but like women are better at talking about it.
Yeah.
And when you look at,
they've got support around
suicide rates and the rest of it, it's predominantly men, and it's predominantly men from like 25 to 40. It's
a lot of pressure when you're running your own business, even if you're not running a business and you're working for someone else in the trade industry and your company goes bust or a trade doesn't pay you. It's happened to us. Like, we've been through it.
Or you're at work and it's hot and sunny and you're over it and you're sweating, and it's just like, sometimes you're like, stuff this shit.
Are you upset at me that I'm at the beach?
And times have been tough in the construction industry, right? So that would add in. And to finish on, what would be, if there is a tradie listening right now, he's in the car and he's alone and he's feeling that, what would be just some simple advice or something to really resonate what we're talking about now to him or her?
I think the best thing is to talk to whoever it is that you feel comfortable talking to. I'm pretty good at expressing my feelings, which I think I'm lucky. But even I go into a shell sometimes, and that moment that you start internalizing everything is the moment that stuff starts going AWOL, So quite often just by expressing it, it feels better.
Find your person or just
find whoever that is, or ring one of these people.
That's
There's plenty of people around, like whether it's Lifeline, TX, they're just a couple, Ring up, talk to someone, and they can point you in the right direction too. Like, I've never been to therapy or anything like that, but like if that's what's needed, do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good on you for talking around that too. So TX, is it? That's a good initiative. So you can buy like the high vis.
So this is a conversation starter. So
nice.
High vis shirts are loud and whatever, and it's got TX, and that people say, "What's the go with the
How's
shirt?"
your shirt?
So
the idea is
starts the conversation. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. That's awesome. And I mean, you guys as a finish on, like, just as your husband, your wife, and you got kids, you're juggling it all. You're trying to set these goals and whatnot. What would be just some closing advice, or maybe it's a family maybe older than you guys, or maybe it's a family younger than you guys. They've just had their newborn and they're looking up to you guys right now and seeing what you're doing. Last piece of advice for those people trying to, I guess, juggle it all, juggle it all.
I was speaking to a mate yesterday, actually. He's a builder down in Sydney. He's my age, went to school together. And he's got, how old's Richie? Maybe 2.
Yeah.
And he's got another one on the way, So he started a bit later than me, but I just said, mate, it does get better. At this time, it's not that it's bad, but it's like when you're not sleeping, when you're doing all that, and this your children demand every little bit of you, and he's running a successful business and all that. Like, give it a few years and it does always become a lot. And
you just always got to look forward.
Yeah, don't wish that
just
away.
Keep
but
looking
like
forward, I guess.
all these stages happen so quickly, and then all of a sudden they're 13 and talking back to you.
I guess in life, just keep looking forward. The same, you can relate it to anything, raising your family or your property market. Just keep looking forward. What's your end goal? Where do you want to be? I want to have a happy, successful family. I want to live here. I want to just anything. Just
goal setting, big thing.
Look forward.
It might be a weekly. In a week's time, I want to do this, or a year's time, or in 2 years' time.
Yeah,
that was a thing with us, like positive thinking.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I don't have children myself, so I just selfishly wrote some tips there too. That was really good advice. So you're so true. Like my nephew just turned 8.
I saw that.
And my other nephew's about to start school on Tuesday, which I'm pumped to go see. But you're right. They're not even my kids. I'm like far out. Like lucky I was somewhat present, but I was still busy, and that like they do grow up really quick, hey? And you're like far out. Like you got to make the most of those times.
Get older, we're older than you. Those years go quicker and quicker. you know?
Yeah,
and
far
it's
out.
like all of a sudden it's like it's the end of January already, and I feel like, where's that gone?
Oh no, I'm still 32. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, I think as we finish on, guys, I just want to acknowledge you both, not only for your time, but also your openness to share your tips and vulnerability too. Like, you guys are really honest. Like, it's tough. Like, you're just having a crack. We're talking off air. Like, hey, no one is perfect. We're all just having a go. And one thing I took from you guys that I love, you seem like people who will just have a go. Like, set a goal. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Have a go.
That's us.
So really appreciate you guys being here.
Aim for the moon, hopefully reach the stars.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Yeah.
Oh God, we're in good hands.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
No, awesome. What we always finish on, guys, first thing that comes to mind, the Temp Therapy Fast 5 brought to you by the crew at Temp Therapy, saunas, ice bars, everything in between. They install them in home. So if you ever need code word SRAMA, the boys will look after you there. So Temp Therapy Fast 5, first thing that comes to mind. We might do separate one because you might have different answers. So yeah, favourite Gold Coast beach?
From Miami.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Chugan.
Oh, nice. You both picked like the kind of ones in between the big names.
I would
grew
have
up
said,
at
but Burley's too busy for me now.
Yeah. I just went to Chugan. I took the kids for a run the other day. Chugan.
It's cool, eh?
God's country. It's got everything you need.
How good? Have you been to the Fox's Pantry?
No.
Oh, you got to go there. It's you know where the BP is?
Oh yeah, I parked outside it the other day.
Yeah. It's like it's just got everything in there. You just think it's a beach, but it's like all health
There's
food.
a little hive in there.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
There was
Coffee's
some very
good,
fit
smoothies
people
good.
coming out of there. Actually,
It's
I was sitting out the front. I was like, oh, another fit.
It is very
it's
good.
A good spot.
It is very good. Yeah. What would be your favorite cafe or restaurant on the Gold Coast?
Restaurant, we love Kiyomi at the casino.
Yeah, that's our favourite.
I still admit, everyone loves it. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just top of my mind because my friends are going there on Sunday. But we also like Costa Dora at Surface, little Italian restaurant. We always go there.
That's our
It's just,
old
standard,
faithful.
I was going to say, I haven't
just
heard of
take
that
kids
one.
there. Yeah, it's like been there forever.
in Auckland.
30 odd years.
Oh, straight in, right in the smack.
Right in smack bang.
Yeah.
Bleach might have different answers.
Cafe for me, I love.
I don't drink coffee. So.
Well, when you swim, I just go to down the Tally Creek, Neptune,
Custard
like
Canteen.
the custard canteen.
Oh, the custard, yeah.
We're not, we don't really get time to go to cafes.
No.
Yeah.
We used to have breakfast before we had kids.
That was our thing.
Yeah. Love it. What about where would the holiday home be outside the Gold Coast?
Sunshine Coast.
Ah,
Noosa.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the most common answer.
Is it?
we've had, yeah.
That's our
Noosa.
end goal.
My
We're
best mate
retiring.
lives up there. And
yeah.
we love it up there.
Yeah.
I'd love to retire up there.
It's a nice build. You know, when you go to the headland, you know, that little enclave of houses in there, private.
You got
like-
plenty of money.
Yeah.
We'll just sit out the front. Help me.
What about on the Gold Coast? Last two questions. Investment potential. What's suburb, pocket? I mean, you're both Gold Coast locals. Where do you see the most potential future?
Oh, look, the most of them are the ones that I want to say I feel like have already run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because, a few years ago, if you could have bought in Palm Beach, like, you'd killed it. And that's not that long ago. Like, even I think back to 10, 15 years ago, what you could have bought in some of those streets leading to Hedges Avenue. Like, but now, hard to say. Look, I guess.
I don't know. Is Tweed coming through?
Tweed's pumping, yeah.
Yeah. We know a few people who started to buy down Tweed, actually.
They want water on the water, and it's more affordable down there than what it is up here. For me, that's probably my answer.
It's a good answer. We literally, the team helping someone at the moment yesterday.
Really?
You can still get sub 2 million for water with a pontoon. Yeah.
I think there's a few in Southport, to be honest, too.
Great suburb.
I'm doing
Sonny's
heaps of work
right
at
into
Southport, and they're like huge, big, multi-million-dollar homes. I feel like it's getting a bit of a revival. You know, not the top end of Southport, more the bottom end of Southport.
Yep. That TSS precinct around there too.
Yeah.
Hey, last question. Where, Darren Palmer doesn't believe in this word. He changed my perspective. Where would the forever home be, you think?
Look, forever home for us, Broad Beach, Waters, Mermaid Waters, Burleigh Waters, that anywhere between there, I think, if we had heaps of money on the beach, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, vision.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love once kids are going, hey, that's
See ya.
Oh,
it.
Straight to the beach.
I love it.
At least you'll be like the chick out of Something About Mary. Or something.
Yeah. No, awesome, guys. Hey, as again, I really appreciate your time. I'm super pumped to keep an eye on it. Where can people keep an eye on the journey? Are you guys doing
Yeah.
anything out? Obviously, you got the business, but yeah, where can people keep an eye on what you're doing?
Sonny and Alicia on Instagram. We're actually documenting our reno
Documenting.
journey
Oh,
on
yeah,
there.
yes. Keen.
Yeah, the real raw version, actually uncut. So
Love it.
Yeah, you get the real us, not the edited version.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to work in our favour or not, but yeah.
Nah, love it. Well, one thing I can say for anyone listening, they're just as real. They speak it. They're real as real. So
Thanks, Matt.
really appreciate you guys, and yeah, good luck with it all.
Thanks
Thank
so
you, Matt.
much, Matt.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Douglas.
having
No
us.
worries.